Good everyone, welcome to this video. Today we have a review on the Seafire LF Mk III. This is added as part of patch 2.13, also known as Winged Lions. Or as some of us have taken to calling it, I believe it's Copied Lions or something like that, because of Israel. And this is one of two Seafires added to the game, because obviously France got one of these as well, as part of patch 2.13, and I need to make something known about this plane. So this plane is a bit of a mixed, shall we say, a mix of marks, if I was to say, in terms of the Spitfire and the Seafire models. This Seafire is a modified Mark II. Now, I know what you're thinking. Do you mean the Mark II as in, like, the version 2 of the Seafire? No, I mean in general, it's actually a Mark II airframe. And I know what you're also thinking. Well, hold on a minute, why is it 5.0? I'll show you why it's 5.0, but it shouldn't be 5.0. This thing should be 4.3, just saying. So this Seafire is a modified Mark II airframe with an engine that's pushing out power equivalent to a Mark V Spitfire. And of course, the guns are typical of, well, they actually have the same ammo count and obviously type of guns as a Mark IX Spitfire, because obviously 120 rounds per 20mm cannon and 350 rounds per 7.7 Browning. So let's go into the engine and take a look. So this is the Rolls-Royce Merlin 55M with a max power of 1060. This is obviously when it's spaded, and a max on war emergency power level of power being 1505 horsepower. Now, for the BR that the thing's at, that is not, like, it will do fine, because obviously there is Mark V's at this battle rating, but remember, this is a low altitude tuned engine, so the higher you go, the less power you will have compared to the other Rolls-Royce Merlins. And as a result, you are going to be at a significant disadvantage compared to your competition. Additionally, this aircraft has, as I said, a Mark II era airframe, so it is not as well strengthened. It can't dive as good as the Mark V's. It can't turn. Well, I mean, it can turn, but it's not as good as what a Mark V would be. But the extra power, thanks to it being a 55M engine, does help it quite a bit. So you will be able to dogfight the majority of aircraft that you'll meet, but things like A6M0s will just completely kick your teeth in, so don't even try that. And of course, with it being a Mark II airframe, you do have a big fat radiator, which is very easy to hit. Flak is very easily going to punch right through this. And of course, it has no armor protection. The aircraft itself does have some light armor protection for the pilot. The aircraft's armaments include, obviously, the cannon and the machine gun, but it does not get access to any ordnance. The French aircraft is exactly the same. If I just show you the French one, I have yet to spade this, probably won't, until it gets a BR decrease. But overall, I just don't see the point of this thing sitting at 5.0. Whilst I have been able to get some good matches out of it, and some not so good ones, I just feel like I'm outclassed in this thing. The Mark V, at least I have the firepower to put things down, and most importantly, it's a Mark V, so I can climb decently well, I can turn just as good as this thing can, and with the 5C at least, or the 5C models, I at least can put them down in just a short burst, but that's just me. Personally, I would recommend 4.3 for this aircraft's battle rating, and I would propose the Seafire Mark II, the standard Mark II, be added at around 3.7 to 4.0 battle rating. Now we're going to move on to the tables to take a look at how the Spade went, and then we're going to do a little bit of a twist for this gameplay. Normally I would do a live section of gameplay, but in this case I'm not going to. I'm going to show you the last match that was needed to spade the plane. However, it will be a replay. Anyway, I'll see you on the table. And welcome to the table. It's a little bit messy because I didn't want to make another table, because normally I only have 14 battles per table. But the last match was the one that needed to spade the plane, so I just bunched it in at the bottom there. So of course, as previously mentioned, the French Seafire is exactly the same, so either one will give you the same similar results. I haven't seen any French Seafires yet, and to be brutally honest, judging by my experience with this one, I doubt I will for some time. So, of course, 15 battles to Spade the plane. I'm not going to talk about the other battles. If you want to pause the video and take a look at the vehicles that obviously, well, the matches that I've obviously had, you are more than free to do so. But the battle you need to focus on here is battle number 15 with 6 air kills, 3 ground kills, 0 assists, didn't die, 54,029 SL, 3,132 S or RP, sorry. Overall, the plane can do some work at the battle rating, but the problem is that there's so many different Spitfires that just completely outclass it. I mean, I got into a match yesterday in a 5-7 match where I met a 14 Spitfire, and he just blew my doors off in every single metric. And I think that is definitely the limiting factor of this aircraft. Whilst you can do some work, even in skilled hands, this thing will struggle against some of the foes. And even the last match I'm going to be showing you today was a down tier, so just bear that in mind. Speaking of that, how about we go take a look at that gameplay? Of course, it is going to be a replay, so it is not normally what you would... well, if you're new to the channel, I tend to do them live, but obviously I wasn't recording this match, because I thought the 3 kills with the 0 assists, 0 ground kills, and no death, which is battle number 10. I thought that was going to be enough. But then I ended up getting this, so yeah. But anyway, I'll see you all in the replay. Welcome to the gameplay. As you can tell, we're in the Seafire. I've closed off the types of aircraft, the player names and all that jazz, just so you can focus primarily on the gameplay. So in this match, for obvious reasons, I was pretty much spaded. Your stock performance will not be even close to this. Let's put it that way. The only thing I had left to unlock was the new 7.7mm guns. And I'm saying 7.7 because some people get triggered by that because you don't... Well, apparently I don't say 303 enough, but I like to say 7.7 just to, you know, push their buttons a little bit, the ones who love historical full-on accuracy and everything. Recommended belts and convergence. I recommend 500 meters convergence with ground targets in the 20mm autocannons and universal for the 7.7s. For the 7.7s, however, it's not as important to really choose a belt. You could run default through the entire Spade and not really have a problem. But I would personally recommend either universal or stealth, just because that seemed to be the most consistent for me. So as you can tell, most of my team is either dead, they're kissing each other's arse back at the airfield, or they're on the deck turn fighting every single player known to man. So as a result, I'm going to have to go down there and help save them. So starting off, I do want to deal with the tier 154 as he is the highest target right now. You did see the American 190 earlier. He is just there on the deck, but of course the 154 is still the highest for the moment. And me and this guy 43 are going to have a bit of lack of communication because we both end up going for the same target. Obviously I want to go for tail end Charlie, and that will make it so that I can not have to worry about a spruce goose up my ass. So there's kill number 1. Now at this point, as you can tell, it's going to develop into a bit of a furball. My original target was going to be the Mk III, but the 109 decided to pull up right in front of me. And there we go, pilot snipe for kill number 2. And as I said, even though I'm showing you a high kill game, this is not going to be what you're going to be getting. You're going to be meeting 5.7s primarily, and most importantly, you're going to be outclassed. So dodging out the way there after bagging my 3rd kill on the Yak, I damage the J26 and I swing it around for the Focke-Wulf 190, who is at such low speed from turn fighting everyone. Yeah, might want to work on that, mate, because the A8 is a really decent aircraft, but if you're going to fly it like that, yeah, no. That's also going to be kill number 5 on that J26, who decided to take a head-on, which, I mean, that's not a bad idea, but yeah, not when your aim's that poor, and also I have better guns than you, arguably. So at this point, I've taken coolant damage, and we're nearing the end of my contribution to the match, because as you can tell, this is quite a quick game. And this is where I was thinking about going most honourable. This A26 is coming in like a bat out of hell, but, well, Yeah, he's not putting that one out. But the funny thing is that the Ki-43 who tried to steal the Burning Yak, and the P-47 that's done absolutely nothing this entire game, is going to try and steal that kill, because that's all they can do these days, it seems. But that is going to be kill number 6 in a couple of minutes, and for the meantime we're going to use the ground target, well, I was going to say the ground target ammo in the cannon, but I'm out of cannon. We're going to use the 7.7s to farm up a couple of ground targets just before the game ends. So, the main thing that people are probably obviously going to say in the comments is, why show a high kill game? Well, I wanted to show it because I want to show that this thing can work if you put it at a BR where it's going to work. Remember, this is a 4-0 max, or this is a 4-0 down tier, so I am top dog in this match. If you put this thing at 4-0, 4-3, I think it would be more than capable. But at 5-0, it just doesn't have the airframe for it, it just doesn't have the horse compared to some of the competition. And most importantly, having the cannons and the machine guns that it does, if it had the 5C's armament, I wouldn't be saying what I am saying. Because at least the 5C can put things down quickly. This thing, it really depends on your luck and your ping. But I digress. That's kill number 6 on the A26 anyway. The third ground target I mowed up was the last thing I'm going to get this match. And that's pretty much it. So in conclusion, I do think if this thing goes down to around 4-3, it will be worth playing. But until then, I would personally skip this aircraft, because you have a much better machine just waiting for you 0.3 of a BR higher. That being the Seafire 17, which is an incredible plane. So, in my personal opinion, give this thing a skip for now, at least until it's gone down in a bit of, well, battle ratings and all that. But don't discount it. It can still do some work if you really need a Spitfire that's this agile, because obviously it is quite an early mark. Remember, it's an early airframe, and it's got more horsepower compared to the earlier marks. But obviously it's only a Mark 5 level of horsepower. So I would heavily recommend giving this thing a skip, just on that basis. But don't discount it if it ever goes down in BR, because I think it will be doing just fine once it goes down to around 4-3, I reckon. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's review on the Seafire LF Mk III, and I will catch you all on the next one.